You're looking live, Wide Right College Football Week 6 pre-show. We're getting started right now. Our first guest, he's the beast from the East. He's the assistant to the president of the Doug Flutie fan club. We just call him Lindsay, but his picks are lead pipe. Welcome to the stream, Lindsay Coyle. What's going on,
you doing?
Lindsay? Oh, man. Fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. This is going to be a fun week coming up. I'm really looking forward to some of these games Saturday.
Sweet.
Yep.
Our next panelist, he covers the West Coast like no other. He's a fan of the Trojans. That's USC football. Please welcome Cool Jude Santa Cruz. What's going on, Jude? How are you doing tonight?
I'm cool. What's up, guys? How's everyone doing?
We are doing well. We're doing well.
Glad to hear. Shoot, I even try to get a cool haircut or comb my hair for you guys today.
I did not, which is why I'm wearing my hat.
As always, we got our number one fan, Diabolical 58. What's up, John?
Hey, John.
Ronald Whitley Sr., which is Christian's also in there. What's going on, Christian? How are you?
Yeah, we'll have to call Christian like the 1A fan. Or maybe John's 1A, Christian's 1B. I don't know. What's going on, guys? Thanks for watching. All right. Well, let's just go ahead and hop on into it. Hunter will join us here shortly. Let's talk about some news of the week. Y'all want to cover some news? Anything interesting or big happened last weekend?
As far as I know, I think there's been a few changes in coaching positions.
Some changes in coaching? Yep, absolutely. So we talked about one of these openly on Saturday night, and unfortunately, Carl Durrell, or maybe fortunately, Carl Durrell was let go by Colorado on Sunday, along with Paul Chryst, head coach of Wisconsin. They were both fired. In other news, 4 SMU Mustangs are entering the transfer portal, so that's not really a good sign for SMU. Bryce Young, he's the quarterback for Alabama. He's day-to-day with a shoulder injury. And it seems like the shoulder injury might not be as bad as what they predicted. Clemson defensive tackle, he's the big old honking dude in the middle. Brian Breesy, he's going to miss a second straight game with a kidney infection. And Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers is expected back at practice, or is expected to play this week. So, with all that said, let's talk about the coaching climate in college football right now. I mean, it's more aggressive than pro football, which is unheard of. Usually in pro football, if you have a stinker of a season, they go ahead and fire you and they move on and get something going. Right now, it's like the transfer portal has created this monster that if you get fired or if you don't do well, you're getting canned mid-season. They're finding your replacement because they want to be ready to go for the following season. The last time I checked, there's only one, crystal ball to hoist at the end of the season. So, man, it is a ruthless business out there now. You guys got any thoughts on any of this?
It's just what we talked about last week. I really think the reason it's happening mid-season is because people want prime time. And there's probably a couple other guys that are out there, and they want to start. If you're firing your coach in the middle of the season, you're giving up on this season. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So you may as well look forward to next year and try to get a jump on recruiting, to get the best coach available, sign him down and move forward that way. That's what I think is happening.
I agree that this is a longer-term way of looking at things by doing it sooner than later. You have to be thinking about next year. If you've got a bunch of losses under your belt, you're underperforming this year, write this year off as far as wins are concerned, but gear up for next year, because the sooner you do that, the quicker you're going to be in better shape. And it helps, like Jude said, with your recruiting efforts, but also with building the staff around the coaching and getting ADs in that might be better at what they're doing, and just building, if you have a systemic failure in a program, you have to rebuild the whole thing, and you have to start somewhere. A coach is a great way to start. If you can get that solid foundation in there, build a team around them, then you're going to stand a better chance going forward.
I'm sure that the teams in the South are all eyeballing primetime, but I honestly don't think Colorado or Wisconsin, he's not their style of coach. And not that they couldn't use to change his style, but I mean, his game, he's not going to want to go to where it's cold and snowy. There's no way. So I don't think he's even on their radar. Who do you think they're eyeballing?
Well, I mean, one name that Nebraska, or two names that Nebraska and Wisconsin are both eyeballing.
I forgot about Nebraska too. Nebraska.
You have Lance Leipold, the head coach of the Kansas Wildcats, and you have Matt Campbell, the head coach of Iowa State. Now, also, Urban Meyer is definitely the number one name because he is viewed as somebody that could come in and turn a program around quite quickly. And he's,
he can also
there's a
turn a young coach around and get her to grind on him at the bar.
But also with that, you can take it. You run a chance of your program being like the South Side of Chicago whenever he leaves. But I think for long term, I think they're going to look at guys that resemble a Midwest coach, and that's Matt Campbell, that's Lance Leipold, people like that. They may not like it, but these guys are program builders. They've taken Iowa State and Kansas respectively and made them contenders, not only in their conference, but nationwide. I mean, Kansas just broke the top 10 or top 25 for the first time in, I think, probably 13 years. So it's a pretty big deal. But with that, we'll just have to see. They're not, the names aren't moving as fast as I thought we would see. They're quick to fire the coaches, but they're not quick to name, a replacement coach. So I think Deion is anybody's choice. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't think that just teams in the South have access to Deion. I think people that make the most sense to Deion are going to make, Deion, because he's not going to be influenced by money because he's got money. I mean, I'm sure he's going to want money, but he's got money. He's not going to be influenced by recruiting because he is a national recruiter. Deion believes that he'll be able to bring players to anywhere he goes. He's proven it right now by bringing 5-star athletes to Jackson State. So we'll just have to kind of see how that goes along. But it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, I think that Wisconsin and Nebraska, they probably stick with the safe picks, like in Lance Leipold and Matt Campbell, maybe Urban Meyer. Colorado, they're going to need to go, I think, and get a younger guy that can bring – like maybe breathe some life into the program, much like what Lincoln Riley did with Oklahoma and USC. You bring this young guy in with this really explosive offense and this like really great knowledge of the game, and he's just going to be, this is going to bring stuff like that. I say a name for Colorado. If I had to pick a name, you might want to look at Kendall Briles. He's the offensive coordinator for Arkansas. And he is the son of Art Briles, but, I think that it's been proven over time that Kendall Briles is a reliable person. And I think, you will see that name's going to be like at top of Colorado's list. So.
I got a name that nobody's mentioned, and he's coached at the college ranks before, and right now he is a coach in the pros. I don't know for sure that he's on the hot seat, but his team isn't performing the way I think people expect them to, and his dream quarterback that they let him draft with the number one pick, I think he's realizing isn't going to be a franchise quarterback the way he thought he was going to be. So he may be tempted to leave. I'm thinking Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, that's a good possibility as well. So it'll be something to play out. I guess we'll probably know more heading towards the end of this month. I mean, because you're going to have to start building towards that here pretty soon. So,
we got Raging Cajun and Miguel Martinez Brown M&M in the chat with us now. Hello, guys.
Hey, guys.
Let's take a little timeout real quick, and then we'll hop on to Lindsay's locks of the week. So let's say hi to everybody in the chat. Let's say hi to Diabolical58. John, thank you for watching. We'll say hi to Christian. What's going on, buddy? We're going to have Christian on this Saturday again. Miguel Martinez, the Brown M&M. Miguel, thank you for stopping in. We appreciate the support. And we always love the emojis. We have Raging Cajun Garage. Raging, thanks for being a loyal follower. We appreciate it. Thank you for watching. We definitely appreciate it. And we have Miguel Martinez again. Anyways, before we go any further, let's talk about our 500 subscriber giveaway. Now, we're coming up on halfway point of the season. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting really, really close. So what this little giveaway is going to be is you're going to get 2 shirts of your choice that have this logo on. I'm not going to stand up, but you kind of get the picture. You'll get a football signed by almost the entire Wide Right CFB crew. Almost. You'll get a $50 gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings and another $50 gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings. So if you like clothes, you like footballs, and you like food from Buffalo Wild Wings, then you like Wide Right CFB. Now, we're not sponsored by Buffalo Wild Wings, but if they're watching, we are interested. So, anyways, guys, get out there, get people signed up, get them subscribed. Let's get this thing up to 500. We're going to have a video the day of the Heisman, the morning of the Heisman. The morning of the Heisman. I don't know what this is, but Jude's teasing us, maybe?
No, I'm saying right there. Can you see that? Can you see the writing on that piece of paper? Come on, one of you guys can fake my signature. It's not that hard.
Oh, we can do that easy.
True story.
It's a little more difficult now that everyone else knows what it looks like. Before that, no one knew, so it wouldn't matter at all. We could put whatever we want on there.
Now we're going to have to watch out for frauds.
Before you could have wrote my name in a crayon and made everyone think I was slow.
So, anyways, we'll have a video the morning of the Heisman. It'll come out. You'll need to watch that video, comment in that video. That's where we're going to go and draw our winner from. Enter.
The football,
it's free to enter. And it's 100% free.
The football may not have Jude's authentic signature, but it will be his authorized signature.
There you go. There you go.
It's not like when I got a letter for the president one time. You know, he was like, he signed it in ink. In ink.
Whoa.
All right. Well, let's get to it. It's that time, folks. Now, he's 2 out of 3 so far. So let me go 3 for 4 this week. Let's get to Lindsay's lockdowns. Lindsay, what's going on, buddy? It seemed like, you were the greatest thing since sliced bread, and then So I know what you're going to say right now. I know what's out there, but the people on YouTube don't know what you're going to say right now. So let's start off with Lindsay's lockdowns. Let's start off with a little pretenders, contenders. Hit me with 3 of your pretenders and 3 of your contenders.
I don't think the contenders are going to surprise anybody. I'm going to pick Tennessee to beat LSU 42-24. I like Michigan over Indiana 52-17. And I got to go with Wake Forest over Army 38-24. These 3 teams have proven to be good powerhouses, very reliable, very consistent. I don't think they're really going to have much competition for them at all this week. For the pretenders, I got Arizona State going to lose to Washington in a high-scoring affair of 38-31. Texas Tech will lose to Oklahoma State 28-24. And I got Iowa State losing to Kansas State 21-19. I'm going to pick some good defense going in that game and maybe some lack of production, some offense. But I think that the contenders are pretty much a lock. I'd be surprised if any of the pretenders actually showed up and put on a better game than I'm expecting this week. But, hey, you never know. Stranger things have happened. But I feel pretty confident with these picks.
So I think you picked kind of a soft one there. Arizona State losing to Washington.
Yeah.
That's kind of a softball. I think you're throwing us a softball. But you know what? You have to have those in there because I know for a fact. See, I'll explain how this works. So I give Lindsay an opportunity. Lindsay picks his pretenders and contenders. He's going to have his upset of the week, his Heisman watch, his game of the week. And then Jude will have his, and then Hunter will have his. And then Wide Right CFB will have their own. And so we'll kind of measure up against all of us throughout the season. And it's not engineered. I want the guys to be open and have, free reign over what they want to bring to the table. So if Lindsay wants to pick Tennessee over LSU, which clearly he's wrong, but if he wants to pick it, he's more than welcome to pick Tennessee over LSU. I'm kidding. I kid because I can. So, but that is completely encouraged. So what I'm saying is to the fans out there watching, put in some of your pretenders, contenders. Tell us the game you want to watch. Let us know who you think should be the Heisman.
Looks like JWC Tech wants to see Michigan win. He thinks he's going to take care of Indiana as he has Go Blue up there in the chat.
Nice. Thank you, JWC.
And, of course, Raging Cajun Garage. He should be Rolling Tide Garage instead of Raging Cajun Garage. He's all about Bama. His pick is Bama over Texas A&M, 56-14. Roll Tide,
right.
And go blue,
so
right?
Lindsay. All right, Lindsay, give me your upset of the week. Who do you think is going to be upset on Sunday morning?
Well, I was looking at the UCLA-Utah game, and
so you think UCLA is going to be upset?
I didn't say that yet. I think I was looking at that game and looking at what both teams look like going into this weekend. I really like some things about UCLA, and I think Utah has a few chinks in the armor that's going to cause them to lose, and UCLA is going to pull out the win in a high-scoring game of 42-38.
Nice.
Wow.
38. You know what? I'm not going to sit here and say that I wouldn't be surprised if UCLA wins this game as good as they looked last Friday. I mean, they looked unbelievable against Washington. And you never know. I mean, like, they could just get better and better and better. I mean, you watch a team progress through the season. They didn't start out great, but they're not bad right now. So they're definitely a team on the rise. And
they are. And momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah, momentum counts for a lot, and they've got it right now.
Yep. All right, Lindsay, hit me with a few people that you think are in the Heisman watch. Let me know who your Heisman hopefuls are.
I think like a good-looking second-tier guy is Bo Nix in Oregon. I think that he has really been turning it on this season. He looks good. He looks well prepared for every game. He's got very good talent. And his team has been very good to him too. So it's working very well. I think that if he continues the way he's going and he can maintain some consistency, we might be talking about him in the top tier for contention. But I like Bryce Young still. I think we talked about him a couple of weeks ago. And I still think that he stands a chance of repeating because he is just that good. He is one of these guys that is in a league of his own right now, and it's almost like he can do no wrong. Assuming he can stay healthy.
We call that TDG. TDG. That damn good.
Yeah, really. He is it. This kid's the real deal.
Yep.
We talk a lot about C.J. Stroud, and I think he's absolutely in top contention as well from Ohio State. Kayla Williams at USC. And we got to bring in Hendon Hooker from Tennessee into this conversation as well. I think that, as he continues to progress and his teams continue to do really well, then he's going to be a top contender later on in the season.
All right. I can't disagree with any of those. Let's talk about something. Let's move on to something else. I know what your game of the week is, and I'm really happy that you picked it too, because I think it's an important game of the week. I think College Game Day is going to be there, which is a big deal for both of these schools because they're two schools that aren't looked at as contenders year in and year out, and for their success they're having right now, it's really awesome that they're going to get to share like a big chunk of the spotlight this weekend. So, Lindsay, give me your game of the week, your highlight game of the week.
I think we should all watch TCU at Kansas. It's going to be a ton of fun. Kansas has not been ranked in a decade, so they have something to prove, and they're looking really good coming into this game. I think that both teams come in with good, solid foundation around them, but I really like where Kansas is right now and how they're positioned because they've been showing a lot of promise that they haven't shown in a long time, and they want to maintain that. They want to grow that. I think that if any team has the most determination of the two, it's going to be Kansas. I'm going to pick them to win 35-31.
All right. And following that, we're going to have another called Game of the Week. And this is what we think the worst game of the week is going to be. Game of the Week. And Lizzie, give me your pick for the Game of the Week.
I think that poor Auburn is going to be W-E-A-K. I think poor Auburn is going to be the sacrificial lamb in this game against Georgia. I don't see this as being very fair at all. It's going to be kind of a lopsided and boring affair. I see Georgia winning this one 52-17.
Nice. And I think that this game, if it does go this way, I think we're going to have some more coaching news on next Wednesday, concerning a certain coach at Auburn. So it's just a trend. I'm just following the trends. The trends say that there's going to be turnover every week of the college football season. So It's unfortunate for some. For schools, they're trying their best. So anyways, that's Lindsay's lockdowns. We're gonna have a little review of this on Saturday. He sent me the copy, so I already know what's going on. We printed it out. Hunter sent me his copy, and I'm sure I can talk Jude into sending me a copy here pretty soon. But next, we're gonna take on Jude's cool takes, and much like Lindsay's, Jude's gonna go through and he's gonna put his own spin and style on all of the above. So with that said, let's bump all on over to Jude's cool takes. Jude, hit me with 3 contenders right now.
3. Well, I'm going to leave off the obvious one because everyone knows who. Since I do have 4 games and they are one, I will leave them off and everyone will know who that is. But my 3 contenders I'm going to pick, I'm going to say Michigan over Indiana this week, and I'm going to pick them to wipe them out, probably with a score of about 38-14. My next contender is a team that I've been on the downside of most of this year. I predicted them to lose the last 2 weeks, and they've definitely proven me wrong. And I've watched their quarterback improve, and now I'm starting to believe in their coaching, and their program is just for real. I mean, it's been for real for the last 9 years. But Clemson to beat, sorry, Lindsay, BCU, and I'm picking that one to be 51-10. And of course, you can't leave the SEC, and remember, you can't say SEC without the letters S and C. Fight on, but you can't leave them out. And believe it or not, the team I'm picking as my contender is the number 9 Rebels of Ole Miss, and I think they're going to beat Vanderbilt 44-20.
Nice. All right. So give me 3 contenders, Jude. Sorry.
Pretenders now?
Yeah, 3 pretenders. Give me some pretenders.
All right, this game features what I think are 2 pretenders, but ultimately the higher-ranked pretender is going to smash the lower-ranked pretender. And I have number 11 Utah beating number 18 UCLA 49-13. This pretender I think is going to win the game, but ultimately they're going to be a pretender, and at the end of the season they're going to get smashed by Go Blue. That's for you, Jason, JWC Tech. But Ohio State's going to struggle massively this week, and C.J. Stroud is going to fall out of the Heisman watch as Ohio State edges Michigan State 31-28. And my next pretender is, well, number 8's not. I think Tennessee is a contender, but the pretender is the team that just got back in the top 25. They're going to be right back out of it. I think Tennessee is going to beat LSU 35-24.
Nice. I like it. All right, so hit me with, Jude, your upset of the week.
My upset of the week is going to be the number 19 Kansas Jayhawks defeating number 17 TCU Horned Frogs, Texas Christian University Horned Frogs, 27-26 in overtime as it goes into a second overtime, and TCU is not able to convert their two-point conversion, and Kansas State is.
Are you a time traveler? Because that was strangely specific.
Well, I tell you what, Lindsay, if it works out that way, we're going to travel to Jude this.
Yes, indeed.
and settle a few things. I really like the buzz that's behind this Kansas TCU game.
I'm so stoked. I didn't know they had the game day was there until you said it right now. That is awesome.
I hope it lives up to the hype. I really think it will, because I think they're 2 hungry programs, 2 hungry coaches. I mean, the fan bases want this so bad. I think it's gonna. I hope it'll live up to the hype. You know what I mean? I hope it's not a stinker. I hope it's just a real just brawl. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be up there in scoring. I don't think TCU plays a tremendous amount of defense, but I don't know. We'll find out. So the best part about it is we get to watch the game. I think it's gonna be awesome. So Jude, let's go over some of your Heisman hopefuls right now.
Now, I just said some guy's going to drop out of the Heisman watch, but we're talking about what we've seen thus far this season. You can't leave C.J. Stroud out up to now. C.J. Stroud has just been phenomenal. And if I'm wrong with my prediction against them against Michigan State, he might continue to go on. But up until now, C.J. Stroud is going to be hard to beat. Kayla Williams, of course, I think is a Heisman hopeful. He has USC back on track, and with Lincoln Riley coaching him, I think Trojans are back. Fight on. And I don't remember his first name. I believe it is Sam, but Sam Hartman from Wake Forest. That dude is putting up some good numbers. And they had a tough loss to Clemson, and I don't think that's going to really hurt them. I think the way he's been performing definitely gets him a seat, possibly, in New York on that late or first Saturday of December.
All right. So I'm assuming your game of the week is also your upset of the week. So your game of the week is at TCU Kansas?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sir. I like the buzz. I like where it's going.
I like that we both picked the same game of the week too, man. That is so cool. We're talking about Texas Christian University and the Kansas Jayhawks and basketball season.
That'll be a fun game.
Look, I'm as serious as I can be. I didn't put this out to anybody. I let them pick their picks, and this is what everybody's thinking. Lindsay lives in Texas. Jude lives in California. We're all friends, but we're definitely, I'm not sitting there like, this is what we're going to do. So,
yeah.
All right. So, Jude, give me a game of the week, and that would be the WEAK variety.
A game of the week, the BYU Cougars, from Provo, Utah, are going to go in, or I don't know if it's at Notre Dame or at BYU, but they're going to beat Notre Dame because Notre Dame is the WEAK in this matter, in a battle of religious schools. I BYU 44, Notre Dame 10.
All right, I'm going to have to give you a little knowledge on this game, Jude. They're playing this in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, it's a wow!
Welcome to Sin City.
The two religious schools playing in Sin City on a neutral field.
You can't get any better than that. So Hunter's going to join us shortly. That's Jude's cool takes. We'll get Hunter's hard takes. We got Lindsay's lockdowns, Jude's cool takes, and Hunter's hard takes coming up. So I'm going to go over what to watch this weekend. I'm going to give you all some what games to watch. So first game I think that everybody should watch is 11 a.m. kickoff on ESPN, and that is number 8 Tennessee at LSU, number 25 LSU. Now clearly, everybody but Ragin thinks that Tennessee's going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be in either direction. I do think that Tennessee wins this game. That's my opinion, but I could be wrong. I'm going to go with the team that scores the most points. We'll win this game. So if you've got time at 11 a.m. and you're not watching the game of the week, if you don't like Kansas and TCU and you need to watch something else, this is definitely a game that you can hook your claws into and kind of watch. Another game that we're going to talk about is the number 11 Utah Utes are going to travel to the number 18 UCLA Bruins. Now, this is a 2:30 p.m. Central Time start. It's on Fox, so you'll get to watch this game. Now, my opinion is I think this is going to be one of those games where we find out how good Utah's defense is and how good UCLA's offense is. And I could see it going either way. If you told me one way or the other, I could decide with you either way. It's definitely going to be the team that scores the most points. It's going to win this game. So it's just going to be interesting how they score the points. And I think to top it off, another game to watch is the number 16 BYU Cougars travel to Las Vegas to play the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And that's going to be at 6:30 p.m. Central Time on NBC. So this is going to be a game that most everybody in America should watch unless you don't own a television. So it'll be something.
The portal to hell will open on the 50-yard line, and everyone's going to get sucked right in.
You know what? I can't disagree with you. It could or could not happen.
It'll be exciting.
Sure. So I've added something a little bit new this week to the broadcast, and we normally do our salute to the service academies. It's a big deal, but I added two new service academies this week, and you're like, I only thought about the three big ones. We also have the Coast Guard Academy, and they play Division III football in the Patriot League, along with the Marine Academy. And these are dedicated service academies, right? You enter these academies, you have a required service after school. So it's not like going to the Citadel or VMI. You have an actual commitment to the government or to your country post-school. So I think if they deserve a look. And there's something interesting that's going to happen between two of these academy schools at the end of the year. It's pretty neat. So let's talk about the first one, and that's going to be. I'll let my crawl come back around here. But our first game of the week is going to be Tulsa at Navy at 2:30 p.m. on that Central Standard Time on CBS Sports Network. Now, Navy played a tight one last week. They lost. It's unfortunate. They played a tight one the week before, and they won. So they're capable of doing it. I think they're gonna play tough against Tulsa. I don't know that they have enough offense to compete with Tulsa. I think their defense is good enough. I just don't think their offense is going to be good enough. Our next game is the Air Force Academy, and they're going to travel to Utah State. Now, Utah State's only 1-4, but this might be the most deceptive 1-4 team you'll ever watch. Utah State pushed the number. Well, no, I guess they're the current number 19. No, 18. What are they? What is BYU? Are they the 14. Number 18? 14 team in the nation.
16, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. You get the point. Pretty far. So I would say they're number 16 BYU. They pushed them pretty hard, pretty far. So that's going to be another game to watch. All right. So let's take a little time out. We'll get back to the Salute the Service Academy because I know this guy is on a time crunch and we need to get him in here. Please welcome our next panelist. This is the foremost expert on anything college football. He brings you inside information only the coaches know. Please welcome my son, Hunter. What's going on, Pizza Man?
What's up?
Hey, Hunter.
What's up, Hunter? Good to see you, man.
Good to see y'all.
All right, bud. So we're in the middle of our Salute the Service Academies. We can definitely hop back and do that as soon as you're done because I know that that's part of your picks that you had this week. So,
it is.
So let's,
you might have to remind me
let's
because I don't necessarily remember them. I'll have them right in front of me.
All right, so let's get into your picks and predictions. Your contenders this week, you have TCU over Kansas, 48-41. You have Utah over UCLA, 31-28. And you have Bama over Texas A&M, 48-14. Now, I would say that the Bama over Texas A&M pick is a pretty safe pick. You know, I'm kind of shocked that you picked such an easy game for your contenders.
Well, I was just going with the schools that are championship contenders. TCU is a Big 12 championship contender. Kansas is too right now. But you look at Kansas' strength of schedule. You look at the teams they've beaten. I mean, they beat West Virginia, who's beaten absolutely nobody worth note. They've beaten Duke, which I have yet to see Duke beat a good team. They beat an FCS school that I don't remember the name of, and it doesn't really matter. And they beat Iowa State, who could actually really stink this year. We just haven't had the proof yet, but it's going to come. So they're good. They're 5-0. I'm not going to take that from them, but they haven't beaten teams that I really believe in. TCU took Oklahoma to the woodshed and beat them so bad that their coach is sitting there saying in press conferences that his team sucks. That is a beating. And I think that Kansas is going to fight real hard, but at the end of the day, I think TCU with Max Duggan, one of my Heisman watch candidates, one of my dark horse Heisman candidates, beats Kansas 48-41.
All right. So let's get on to some pretenders. You have FSU taking down North Carolina State 24-21.
Real quick, can I say something on what Hunter said? He said that Iowa State might actually be really horrible this year. We don't know yet. Do you think possibly that if they are that horrible, that they're playing to save their coach's job?
No. They're
on the hot seat. Maybe they don't want no one to want him. They want no one to want him.
I mean, I would say they're doing everything they can to keep Matt Campbell. The more that these Big Ten schools fire coaches, the more likely Matt Campbell is to jet.
Yeah,
so
I agree with that.
I don't think that they're trying to play to keep Matt Campbell from being fired. They're probably playing to keep him there.
But that's what I meant. That's what I meant. It just came out wrong.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. You look at the game plans get less inspiring every week from Iowa State. I've watched them, and it's like every week they get a little bit less like. It's a lot like Oregon last year with Mario Cristobal. You could tell as the season goes on, he was talking to Miami. You can see that his head was not in Eugene; it was in Miami. And it feels like with Matt Campbell, his head's not Ames, his head's in Lincoln, or his head's in Camp Randall. So we'll see.
All right. So your pretenders, you picked Florida State over North Carolina. And
Yep.
I know that you're a big Mike Norvell guy. So I know that, you really feel like Mike Norvell's going to turn the page there. You have
It's
LSU
more than
over
just a
Tennessee
chop.
23-17.
Yeah.
Oh, you like the
Well,
chop?
Well, it's more than just the chop of Florida State. NC State just had a heartbreaker against Clemson, right? They came into the season talking about how that's the game they're going to prove that the ACC is now theirs, and they lost, and it wasn't close. All right, 20-30, it wasn't close. It could have been 100-10. It would have been the same score. So I think Florida State's going to go take advantage of a down NC State team. I know Florida State lost last week, but I don't feel like that's going to affect them as much as NC State's loss has, right? NC State had so much emotion riding on that game. Florida State, they weren't expected to go undefeated anyway, right? You lost to a really good Wake Forest team. Florida State can go in there and exploit NC State's. And also, NC State's offense has not been impressive this year, and Florida State has proven they can score in really random and odd ways. So we'll see.
All right. So you have LSU over Tennessee, 23-17. And now this is not going to be an easy game for Tennessee. I kind of think that the quarterback from Tennessee is probably going to have a little bit more influence in this game than probably the LSU offense is. I can see LSU going cold again, but I can also see LSU going, hey, look, we're going to run the ball 3 yards in a cloud of dust and just make this a rock fight. So what do you think?
Two-word statements: Brian Kelly and Baton Rouge.
All right.
LSU's defense is going to be the most elite defense Tennessee has played probably since they played Alabama last year, right? Like
now this is 11 a.m. game. You're definitely not going to have the full support of Baton Rouge. This isn't like
you will. It's a ranked matchup. You're gonna have.
You're going to say. So you're saying they're going to stay up all night drinking and then just carry over for the 11 a.m. game?
Absolutely.
Right.
It's the best fan base in college football is LSU fans. They support their team through thick and thin. And so, I think also with LSU's defense has the speed to stop Tennessee's offensive speed. LSU's defense has the speed to exploit the mistakes Tennessee's offense has made a lot more than Florida did. So we'll just have to see. But I have a feeling that we'll see LSU pull off the upset.
All right. So tell me about UGA over Auburn, 28-27. Now you do understand if UGA only beats Auburn 2027, Brian Harsin gets to keep his job another week.
Look, I mean, Tom Herman's going to be the next coach at Auburn. We already know this. So I don't know. I don't think they're really doing anything crazy here. But UGA has struggled against bad teams 2 weeks in a row. You might as well make it 3 in a row, right? And this is a rivalry game, technically. Just like other things are technically rivalry games, but we'll see. I had to pick a game that I thought a team would struggle in, and I have my upset of the week just waiting for another panelist to hear. So this was one I was like, man, I think UGA could struggle. I think they'll win just because Auburn's going to choke in the most hilarious fashion. So my prediction is that they're going to fail a 2-point conversion to win the game, right?
You serious? You think Washington State's going to be USC? You seriously think Washington State's going to be USC?
Oh, Jude, I was going to ask you to put on earmuffs.
Oh, man.
Oh, come on. You're killing me, dude. You're killing me. Oh, wow.
So Hunter has Washington State over USC 36-35 with a game-winning 2-point conversion.
Wow.
Now this is definitely going to be a game that we're going to be able to watch. So I think it comes on a little bit later. What is the time on this one?
4:30 Pacific.
Yeah, so it's going to be 6:30 our time, 6:30 Central Time. So it's definitely going to be a game to watch. It'll be ending about the time that we come on the air. And if Jude is successful, then Hunter is going to have to wear the clown hat on air.
I'll wear the clown hat. And here's my thinking. Right? That yes, Wazoo choked it up against Oregon, but USC, they beat Arizona State, but it wasn't like the most inspiring beatdown I've ever seen. It was like, oh man, they beat a team without a coach, and Utah did it way better. Wazoo's looking for that marquee win to really kick off. I can't remember the coach's name right now. His era, Cam Ward's real era in that, in Pullman. And if they go into LA and beat a USC team that's overlooking them, I could see it happening, right? Lincoln Riley always has his one loss of the year. He had it with Kayla Williams last year in Oklahoma. They lost to Baylor. Hell, they lost to Oak State. Both games they really should have won. So we'll see. Yeah. I don't necessarily think it's going to happen, but I think if it does happen, that's exactly what's going to happen. Is that USC is going to build a lead, and Wazoo is going to chip away, right? And USC's defense has relied on interceptions, and if they don't get those picks, Wazoo could win the game. Again, I think it's going to be on a 2-point conversion to end the game, and it'll be kind of like in that shocking surrender Cobra way. So we'll see.
All right, so now that you've broken Jude's heart, let's talk some Heisman Trophy. You're going to hurt his feelings on this one, too.
Well, fellas, I got to duck out. I got to get back to work. So I will catch you all on Saturday. Thanks for everyone in the chat for joining. Please tell your friends, and we'll see you all later on in the week. Have a good one, guys.
All right.
Thank you, Lindsay.
All right, Lindsay. Thank you. All right, Hunter, you got a Heisman watch on here, but you're missing a big person on the Heisman list.
All right,
here.
real quick. I just forgot to add Kayla Williams. He should be on there.
All right. All right. So you have your Heisman watch. You have C.J. Stroud there.
Best numbers of quarterback.
Bryce Young's and Jahmyr Gibbs both on there. I know that your dark horse is Max Dugan. You also have Hendon Hooker. Depending on how this week goes, could probably make.
I'm kind of showing love to guys that deserve it. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, definitely DJU from Clemson. You have on there. If he keeps showing what he is like this, I mean, he's definitely gonna. They're playing BC. This is an opportunity for. I mean, he's gonna be. This is not gonna be an easy game for Clemson, but he's playing BC. He should show fairly well against BC.
I want to see another. If it's a third straight DJU performance like we've seen the last 2 weeks, give him his flowers. He'll be in New York if he just keeps playing like this because he's leading a team that's going to go to the CFP.
And then you also have Jalen Daniels. He's the quarterback for Kansas. He is definitely the reason the team. You never want to say the team is anchored by one guy. This guy literally anchors the team. He makes it possible for their defense to play so well because of the ball control, the ability to convert first downs, and that's what makes him so dangerous.
He is the most efficient quarterback in the country. He does exactly what his coach asked of him, nothing less, and just a little bit more where you like it. So I like Jalen Daniels a lot, but the reason I have him and both Max Dugan on here is that basically whoever wins this game between Kansas and TCU, I think is the dark horse Heisman candidate from the Big 12 that's not named Spencer Sanders.
All right. So we're going to get back to the salute to service here in just a second.
All right.
You didn't really give me a game of the week, a WEAK. You gave me a game of the week, and of course, it's just like everybody else's game. It's TCU at Kansas.
Okay.
And he's told you, but his game of the week, like who he thinks isn't going to do all that well, he didn't have that. Instead, he gave us a G5 game of the week. That's a group of 5. And Hunter, go ahead and give some love to the group of 5.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I told you it was going to be East Carolina versus No, it wasn't East Carolina. It was Western Kentucky versus UTSA, and I said I'll take the Roadrunners with the points -3.5.
Yep.
Wow.
And this is a game that is going to be played at 5 p.m. Central Time on ESPN Plus. It's going to be in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, and since we're from the area, we do know some people that go to these games. It's going to be a packed house. So it's going to be a lot of cheering fans. Now, Western Kentucky, they're not a pushover. They're going to come in. They're going to score a lot of points. You're going to be impressed by how many points they score. And UTSA is not a pushover either. They have probably the most underrated coach in America right now. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
So Jeff Traylor, he's a high school coaching legend. He coaches at a school called Gilmer. He's gone to UTSA, and I don't think he's going to be at UTSA much longer. I think he's going to move on to probably a larger school. Anyways, that's Hunter's game of the week. Now, Hunter, do you have any more time for us, or do you have to bounce?
Yeah, I can talk for a couple minutes. I know exactly how to get back. I just have to start making my way there.
All right. So I'm gonna bump on over to the salute the service if you're ready for that.
Yep.
All right. So I let everybody know, what was happening with the salute to service. I told them about the 2 new service cats he brought in. Now I said that Tulsa was going to win over Navy. I didn't think Navy had enough offense to compete with Tulsa. You have Navy beating Tulsa by 1 point. I can't disagree with you because every time I do, they end up winning. But let me know why.
So here's why. So Tulsa runs an air raid system, right? A quick read air raid system. One of the offenses that Coach Ken's defense has proven that for some silly reason it can always just mess with and stop is the quick read air raid, especially ones that use wing T running concepts. What does Tulsa use as running concepts? Wing T running concepts. For whatever reason.
Roll the wing T. I ran that for 12 years.
We won like 5 games a year.
Well, I didn't start winning championships until I wasn't coaching you.
Yeah, well, I didn't play, so you can't blame me. So anyway, the Navy has a weird way of stopping those offenses. I don't know why, but they do. So I just have that expectation that Navy's going to come out and stop.
Are you there?
And that is Air Force. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So
I don't know if y'all can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right. Yes.
All right. So next we have Air Force at Utah State. Now, I think this is going to be a closer game than what people think. Air Force kind of took it on the chin last week. Utah State is definitely not the same caliber a team they played last week. They're going to be pretty good. What are your thoughts on that one, Hunter?
I think Air Force's rushing offense, much like whenever Service Academy has a good team, it's just a bulldozer coming downhill. It's hard to stop. It's real hard to stop. Utah State has a good offense. They have a good offensive coach, but I just don't think that it's going to be enough. They've had too many issues this year. They've had too much miscommunication, too many mistakes. I think Air Force just exploits that and wins the game. I don't know if it's going to be by a lot, but I'd say by about 10 points. I think that's fair.
All right. You'll be able to catch this game on Fox Sports 1 at 6 p.m. Central Time. Let's talk about another game, Army at number 15, Wake Forest. Now, this game's going to be at 6:30 Central Time on ESPN 3. I actually had to check and make sure that was a real thing. Now, you think that Army's going to get blown up by Wake Forest. I think that Army's going to be blown up by Wake Forest. I just think it's going to be a competitive game in the first half, and I think Wake Forest salts them away towards the end. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Hunter and Jude, what do y'all think?
I just think that Army. Go ahead.
No, so you said you weren't sure if ESPN 3 was around. I really, unfortunately, think Army's going to take one on the chin, and they could have put this one on the Ocho. It didn't have to be on ESPN 3.
Yeah, I think with Army that they've had too many losses this year. They're on a down year. It's kind of like I've begun to really look at the team, and that there's a certain lack of athleticism this year that they didn't have last year. That they're just missing that athleticism to compete at the level they would need to bring something to a Wake Forest team that could still win the ACC. That's not out of play for this Wake Forest team. And believe me, every game in front of them, they're intent on blowing out that opponent so they can have a case to play in the ACC championship. And I just think the Army's that next victim.
All right, so we're going to get to 2 new service academies now. And one is the Coast Guard Academy. And they play at 12 p.m. Central Time. And they're going to be playing a team, Springfield, which is in the Patriot League as well. And now, Coast Guard Academy is actually 2-3 right now. They played in some really close games. They beat the University of New England, or they lost to University of New England 17-10. They beat Curry 22-16. They lost to Nichols 37-33. They beat Anna Maria 66-28. They lost to Norwich 31-23. So their upcoming games are against Springfield, Catholic, MIT, and that's the school in Boston, WPI, and the Merchant Marine Academy. Now, something cool about the game versus the Merchant Marine Academy, it's going to be on November 12th, and it'll be televised on ESPN. And Hunter and I are definitely going to be watching this game. We're going to encourage that everybody go watch the Merchant Marine Academy and the Coast Guard Academy play. But as far as this weekend goes, I don't know. I'm going to pick Coast Guard Academy just so they can get up to 500.
Man, that'll be cool, man. I'm definitely going to watch that game.
Yep.
So
I'm gonna say I'm gonna pick the 2 service academies. I've got to go. Eat 'em up, cats. Fire Jake's Babylon.
All right. And then we'll talk about our other service academy, the Merchant Marine Academy. Now, for you that don't know, the Coast Guard Academy is in Connecticut. It's in, I have to look it up to see. It's in somewhere in Connecticut. I know that for a fact. The Merchant Marine Academy is in Kings Point, New York. No, yes, the Merchant Marine Academy is in Kings Point, New York. Now, and they are playing Norwich, which is a pretty tough team. They just beat the Coast Guard Academy, so it should be a pretty tough game. I actually know somebody that played football at the Merchant Marine Academy. So that's
pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, it's a very cool thing. So it's amazing how it all ties together, right? But that's our salute to service. We want to thank every service member out there, whether you're in the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, the Space Force, the Merchant Marines. We appreciate everything you do for us, and we show y'all some love by putting y'all on our show every week. So good luck to all the service academies out there. We'll be pulling for you no matter what happens. All right. So with that said, we're going to move on to our official game of the week. And like we said, again and again and again, it's Kansas and TCU. And it's going to be a big game. Now, unfortunately, this weekend has a few other big games that are going to kind of probably overshadow Kansas and TCU, but it shouldn't, right? You have Texas and OU, and I know that they're both kind of right now, but they're also traditional powerhouses. This is a traditional weekend. They always play the first Saturday in October in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl at Fair Park. It's a tradition thing. That game is going to be kind of overshadowing this Kansas game. Kansas and TCU are going to be playing on Fox Sports 1, so they're not going to be necessarily the marquee game. But if you don't like Texas or Oklahoma, please dial over and watch this game. The other big thing that they got going on at 11 a.m. is they have this top 25 matchup between SEC schools, and that's number 8 Tennessee and number 25 LSU. Now, this is going to be on ESPN, so it's another marquee game that's on at the same time. It's not ideal. I would have really loved to see this Kansas and TCU game about 6 p.m. I think that Central Time.
That would have been awesome.
I think that would have been a really good time, just right at that sweet spot. I understand Kansas didn't crawl into the top 25 until this week, which I think is they're a very underrated team, and TCU didn't get ranked until their absolute destruction of Oklahoma. So, with that said, it's going to leave some things to be said. But I think this game's going to live up to the hype. If you don't want to watch one of those other marquee games, tune in and watch Kansas host TCU. And, our picks have been all over the place. I'm going to pick the team that scores the most points. That's my winner. And then we'll switch over to the Heisman watch. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper on the Heisman than some of the guys. I want to talk about the Heisman frontrunners, and then I have a Heisman dark horse for you guys. So, obviously, our Heisman frontrunners, we have C.J. Stroud. He's got the second best QBR in the nation. The QBR is like a compilation of like other, I guess, scoring accolades or some how they rate quarterbacks. They put that all together. He's got the second best QBR in the nation. His completion percentage is at 68.7%, which is pretty good. He's got 1,376 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. So he's definitely moving the ball down the field. Now, C.J. Stroud's not a runner. He's not going to woo you with runs. I think he's got like 4 total rushing yards on the season. So he's definitely not going to woo you with his feet. He doesn't need to. He doesn't leave the pocket. He's a true pocket passer. He is exactly why the NFL is salivating over this guy. This guy he looks like a NFL-ready quarterback today. So, he's definitely on the top of my Heisman list. Another one is Caleb Williams. Now, Caleb Williams is 8th in QBR. He's got a 67.3% completion rate. He's thrown for 1,402 yards. He's got 12 touchdowns, and he didn't throw his first interception until last week in the middle of the game, and it was kind of on a play where it was like, Now, Kayla Williams does have 144 rush yards and 3 rushes.
It was a jump ball into the end zone, man. I mean,
yeah,
the defenders just
it was a fluke deal. It wasn't like he was trying to force a play. It's just like the receiver maybe overran the route just a smidge, but that shouldn't hold him back. But I mean, that's one turnover, so that's some.
Not only was that Kayla Williams' first interception, that was USC's first turnover of the year.
Yeah, that's big stuff. That means the team's going in the right direction. And then we'll have I got another one. It's Bryce Young. He's 9th in QBR. His completion percentage is 67.2, just a 0.1 behind Caleb Williams. His pass yards are 1,202 pass yards on the year. He's got 14 passing TDs and 3 interceptions. And, he hasn't played a bunch of scrubs all year long. I mean, he's played some pretty tough teams, much like the other guys have too. I think that CJ Stroud's numbers his QBR might dip a little bit. Maybe his completion rate might dip a little bit once the cool weather hits, once the competition level kind of steps up. They don't play a real tough part of the schedule until the back half of the season. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, back to Bryce Young. He's got 154 rush yards and 3 rushing touchdowns as well. So Bryce Young is definitely out there. He's definitely out there getting it done both through the air and on the ground. Now, we all talk about these Heisman front runners. We definitely have to have a Heisman dark horse, right? A guy that we really think that's got a chance to win it. And if things go their way this weekend, he's definitely going to be in the Heisman watch. And that's Kansas quarterback Jalen Daniels. He's 5-0. He's number 1 in QBR, which means that he leads every statistical category when you combine them and you come up with this stat here. He's got 983 pass yards. You're like, well, the pass yards are kind of lower than the other guys, but he's got 11 passing touchdowns, only 1 interception. He does have 329 rush yards and 5 rushing touchdowns. Now, there's a stat hidden in all these facts and figures that we're not talking about with Jalen Daniels, and that is his conversion rate on 3rd down. He rarely leads his team into 4th down. He has a high conversion rate on 3rd down, and it makes him a very hard quarterback to stop because he can do it both through the air and on the ground. So I think that Jalen Daniels is going to be a contender for the Heisman, but right now he's a dark horse. If things go well this weekend versus TCU, he's definitely going to be on everybody's watch list. He's definitely going to be up there. So congratulations, Jalen Daniels. You are definitely getting it done, sir. And we look forward to a great game this weekend. So before we hop on to the next one, Jude, you want to cover some comments real quick?
Yeah, sure. I would love to.
All right. Let's go back up here. Go ahead, Jude.
Oh, I was just reading some of them. Raging Cajun's talking about that he hopes Bryce Young can play. He's been practicing. He thinks he's hopeful he's going to play. He thinks that if the LSU quarterback, starts hitting on all cylinders, that they're going to really, really do well and beat Tennessee. Diabolical 58 is ready. What is he ready for? That's to be found out. We also have Miguel Martinez with the thumbs up. I asked everyone to hit the like button. Miguel said that's the first thing he did. 3 thumbs ups and 2 cool face emojis. Raging Cajun says he's still not saying he's playing this weekend. Okay, well, he might not play, but I don't think Alabama's going to need him against Texas A&M. Christian says, hi, guys. And I just got back on the stream. Well, welcome back, Christian. It's glad to have you back and can't wait to talk to you on Saturday.
All right, so let's move on. And what do I have next? Well, I don't have it on here. So
can I give a dark horse? I know I talked about Sam Hartman earlier.
Go for it. Absolutely.
I talked about Sam Hartman earlier, but Hunter talked about DJU. And I brought up his stats, man. He's having a phenomenal year. His quarterback rating is 150.9. He's got 11 touchdowns, 1 interception. His QBR, which I don't know if that's quarterback rating or not. Rating and QBR are two different things. His QBR is 77.2, which is high. That's 24th in the country, but he's played some tough teams too. And rushing the ball, he doesn't rush the ball a ton, but man, I think he's got. Where is he? I lost it. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Here we go. I'm sorry. This year he's rushed the ball only 55 times, 242 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he can run the ball. Definitely. And he gets a lot of first downs on 3rd and longs and 4th and longs, but I've seen him do that. I've watched him the last 2 weeks because, like I said, I picked against them. And I went from picking against them 2 weeks in a row to now making them a contender. So changed my mind.
So, all right, let's get back to the front here. I want to talk about one more game this week, and it's a game that Hunter really kind of pushed me away from wanting to talk about. He's like, Dad, I don't think anybody will want to talk about this game. I want to talk about it because it's a team I like, and that is – let me pull it up here. I'm looking for their opponent real quick. I really like James Madison. I think James Madison is pretty good. I think this is their first year in the football bowl subdivision, and they are going to play this week Arkansas State. Now, Arkansas State's coach I always make fun of. I don't like Butch Jones. He's got a flat top haircut, and he looks like a giant a-hole walking up and down the sidelines. He might be a hell of a nice guy, but just outward appearance, I'm just like, ugh. I don't really like Butch Jones. But Arkansas State plays. They host James Madison at 6 p.m. Central Time on the NFL Network, and this is going to be in Jonesboro, Arkansas. So if you want to watch, give it a watch. I think James Madison's really going to surprise you about how well they play. I think you're going to like watching the game. So even if you watch 5 minutes, give it a watch. So,
hey, who was the older brother on Weird Science?
oh, that was Bill Pullman.
Yeah, Bill Pullman played him, but do you remember the character's name? I can't remember it off the top of my head. But you just described him. When you described the coach, that character popped in my head. You know, the flat
what
top.
What you're saying is Butch Jones walks up and down the sideline and goes, "What are you looking at, butthead?" Kind of like Biff from Back to the Future.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. No, it's just something about Butch Jones. You just want to go like, ugh, I just don't like. But we could stream tonight. It went by. Can you believe it's already been an hour and 2 minutes?
Man, that went by. It was real smooth, man. Went by real well.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great stream.
But yeah, so there'll be more to come. Saturday's gonna be a fun stream. We appreciate it, Jude. I'm gonna single you out. I'm gonna let you break it down on your end. So go ahead and hit us with a little breakdown. We're gonna wrap the show here.
Oh, well, we appreciate everybody that came on and watched, man. Our loyal followers and viewers, man. That is so awesome. I know you guys do, but I'm going to say it anyways, in case someone gives us a random view and they watch all the way till the end. If you like our channel, share it. It's a work in progress. I've told everybody, we're not college game day, where we're getting paid millions of dollars to talk college sports. We're a bunch of working dudes who work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. We have families, and then we try to find, a couple hours a week to have fun and talk some college football. And I think it's getting better and better each week. And I really can't wait till the giveaway. And I hope we hit that 500 subscribers. I think we will. And our surprise, don't forget, there's always that surprise guest. So you guys are going to look forward to that. So until then, I guess, are we signing off, Cass? I'll go ahead and say.
Sign off. Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, you can't say SEC without the letters S and C. Fight on. Cool dude Jude's out.
All right. Once again, like Jude said, we appreciate everybody joining us today. It was a fun stream. We're getting better every week. We have a bunch of surprises still to come. It's going to be a lot of fun. Remember our 500 subscriber giveaway. You're going to win 2 of these shirts of your size and choice. You're going to win a football signed by most of the Wide Right CFB cast. And you're going to win a $50 gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings and another $50 gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings. So please sign up, tell a friend, make some burner accounts, enter as many times as you can. We'll have the video on the morning of the Heisman. Then after the Heisman's read or the winner's announced, we're going to go and have a live stream, give away the stuff, have a bunch of laughs, reminisce about the season, have some fun, maybe bring on some more guests, make it kind of a bigger show. But till then, we appreciate it. And remember, the team that scores the most points always wins the game. Thanks for watching.